I have a problem. And I'm coming to you today for support. And I'm hoping that there are others of you out there that also have this problem so that I don't feel so alone in this. Basically, this is so hard for me to say. I'm just kidding. I can't read one book at a time. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, of course, I can't either. I read like 2 or 3, going at the same time. I have 8 going at the same time. So I would like to start a little small, tiny discussion. No. Advice. No. What is the word I'm trying to find? I don't know. I want to know what you all do out there, and what your techniques are, or what's easier for you to get through books. I think I'm a very impulsive person, I think, or I'm a mood reader, maybe, in that if I'm reading one book and something happens that day where I don't feel like reading that book, but I want to read, so I pick up another book, and then I don't want to read those 2 books the next day, so I pick up another book, something like that. And along with that, I also have a really hard time deciding what to read next. So when I finish one of these books, I don't want to finish the ones that I'm already reading. I see, all the books that I have on my TBR pile, and I think, oh, I gotta pick another one so that I can get through them faster. And so I'm left with reading 8 books at once. I'm fine with that. It is a little overwhelming, but I'm just curious on what a lot of you do out there. It's a really fun subject I'm really interested in. I'm always looking on YouTube and different blogs and stuff about what people do. If they read 1 book at a time, 2 books at a time, 12 books at a time. And I'm always just curious about that. So I thought what I would do is go through the books that I'm reading and go through my process kind of what I do, and maybe you can let me know what you do. So I'm very curious. So I've kind of made some guidelines for myself from the past couple of months about what kind of books that I would like to have read, or sort of like categories to help me figure out what books to read at once so that I'm not reading the same kind of book, if that makes any sense. So I think I went a little bit overboard. At first I thought, okay, well, I'll have a nonfiction, a fiction, a short story collection, and maybe a graphic novel. Okay, and maybe a classic or something. But apparently I've just blew that up times 1,000 and came up with this, and now I'm up to 8. And I've got some books from the library that I'm going to show you all eventually, and I just can't stop. I can't stop. So let's just dive right in. So speaking of classics, I thought that I will pull a classic off my shelf. Well, because I'm reading a couple of really big books this month, I thought that I would pick a small classic. So one of the smallest classics, modern classics, in this case, that I have is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I read this in high school, but I don't really remember if I liked it or not. So I thought adult Jeremy might get a kick out of reading it again. So there's that. Steve Donahue has kindly sent me lots of books because he knows I'm really into LGBT fiction at the moment and want to just read everything I can in that genre. So I thought he sent me a lot, so I thought I need to start reading all of them so that he knows that I will get to them and read them. So the one that he sent me, one of the books that he sent me is this. It is called In Memory of Angel Clare by Christopher Bram. It's really good. I'm only chapter 4, and I had no idea about Christopher Bram, and he's written a lot of stuff. And even one of his books, I can't think of the name of it right now, I will show it somewhere, was made into a movie. This is really good. I'll talk more about these books after I read them. So there's the Steve book. So I've got a classic and I've got a Steve book. This is a special book because it's a proof copy that Jen Campbell sent me of her new short story collection, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night. So what I'm doing with this, I am reading one of these stories before I go to bed every night because they're really fabulous. Although I think I'm going to change that. I don't know. But I want to get this read soon so that I can talk about it because this gets released in the UK November 2nd, I believe. So that's exciting. So I have that. I don't know how this ended up in my... Oh, I know why. This is how my brain works. I like to read once I get up in the morning. And I thought that I would like to read something a little non-fiction-y. So I started to read Annie Dillard's Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. And I just couldn't handle that book. So I put that down. I don't know. Maybe I gotta come back to it with a more of an open mind. It's just right now it's not working for me. So I put that down. I couldn't do it. But I still like the idea of reading a nonfiction, maybe something that had to do with nature or travel or something, so I can sort of wake up to some nice visuals or something. I don't know. So I decided to read Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck, In Search of America. I love John Steinbeck's writing. I'm really glad I decided to start reading this because it's really good. I'm only reading, a section at a time every morning, but it's a good way to wake up, I found. So there's that. Then, of course, I have to read a short story collection. So I just finished The Garden Party by Catherine Mansfield. So I had to pick up another short story collection. And so I'm reading The Public Library, or just Public Library, sorry, by Ellie Smith. I really adore Ellie Smith. Of course, her book, Autumn, was shortlisted for the Man Booker, and I read that a while ago, and I loved it. So I got to get some more Ellie Smith in there. I had started this a while ago, and apparently had never finished it. So I'm starting back from where I left off. I don't know if that's cheating. I kind of remember what I read. So there's that. Then I'm doing a buddy read with Kathleen Ann and Stephanie with Tar Baby. This is the dust. I don't have the dust jacket on here right now. It's back there somewhere. This is a really cool hardcover I found. So we're only on chapter 4. We're going through this very, very slowly. And hopefully we'll keep going with this, because I'm having a really good time buddy reading this. It's really, really good so far. And then, that was part of my list, was also a buddy read if I'm doing one. And then another category was just to pick a random book off of my TBR shelf, because I have so many books that I have not read. I have so many books to read. So the book I chose to read was The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis, which I'm really enjoying. It's a lot. I'm on chapter 9, but I'm getting through it, and I really, really enjoy it. So there's that. I do a side note. I do have to say, if any of you from the UK are watching, I'm very curious. I picked this one. I have a couple of other books like this because I got them on Book Depository and they were cheaper than the hardcovers, but they're the size of hardcovers, but they're paperbacks, but they're big, but they're not large print because the font is regular size, but they're just bigger than a normal paperback. Because when they're I got this book sort of when this book came out, so you only could get the hardcover or this one. And in America, you just can get the hardcover, and then you've got to wait a while to get the paperback. So I'm not sure, if this is a common thing that y'all do in the UK? Tell me about it. I'm very curious. I like it. It gets damaged easily. I don't know. It's good. No, I like it. I've got a couple other ones that I could show you. Oh, you know what? This one, that one I just showed you, Public Library. This is the same kind of thing. It's big like this is a hardcover, and it's the same size. It's not a regular size paperback like this guy, but I don't know, you get the idea. Anyway, they're cool. And then I also want to read a new release, a new book every time that I'm reading a group of books. So for this month I'm reading The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyd, and I cannot wait to talk to you all about this. It's so good. It's so good, you guys. I gotta talk to you about this. I need to make a whole video about this and just urge everyone to read this. It's big. It's long. This is the one I was talking about. Why I wanted to pick up some shorter ones, because it's a lot, but it's so good. It's so good. Oh gosh, it's it's one of those books that it's a very, very made up story, and that there are some really convenient plot points that happen that you kind of get to and you're like, okay, that's not really realistic, but I can see why the author did it for for purely entertainment reasons. But I appreciate that kind of thing in a book. But the writing is wonderful, and the characters are amazing. You're following the one main character, and his every section of the book is 7 years later from when the previous section stopped. From the day he's born to, who knows? He's born in 1945, and I'm in 1994 right now. So it's amazing. I do have to say though, this book and there goes my phone. And this book are very hard to read at the same time. Steve Donahue, if you're watching, you'll know why. It's like really hard to get through. So I think I gotta read one and then maybe take a break and read something a little bit longer before I get back to this one, or I don't know. But I'll just say that there's a big section. The main character is gay in this, and there's a big section in this that takes place in the 80s. So if that means anything to you, and this book takes place in the 80s, I think, with a lot of gay people. So, AIDS. I shouldn't laugh after I say that, but you know what I mean. It's hard to read these back to back. So those are the books I'm reading currently, trying to get through. I think in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I read 8 books at once, then I will get through more off of my TBR list than if I read one book at a time. But then I think, okay, but if I'm just focused on reading one book at a time, I'll get through it faster because more of my time is taken by reading just that one book. But then I can't because I'm so impulsive and I'm such a mood reader that I don't know. Hi, this is Jeremy editing my video, and as I'm watching this section, I realize that it shouldn't matter how many books you're reading or trying to get through your TBR pile, Jeremy, because it's all about reading, right? It's all about reading these books. It shouldn't be about getting through all these books, right? Okay, back to it. I would really love to know your thoughts. I would love to know if you also read like me, or if you do just read one book at a time. If that works for you, I want to know. Also, if you have any advice for me, like maybe I should cut down. The problem is I keep collecting things. I need to stop buying books. I was out of town the last 2 months ago, and I'm trying to remember when it was, in the Bay Area, and I bought a lot of books that I want to show you one of these days. And then I just, buying books is fun, but then also not reading them is another thing, right? So let me know what your thoughts are about this and what you do. I'm really, really curious to see what you all do. And that's it. I will be back really soon with some book hauls, and I would really love to do a tag. I think I might actually do a tag where I don't sing. I know I know the title of my channel is Jer Sings and Reads, but it's really hard to record singing right now with all the other stuff I'm doing. So if that's okay with you that I don't sing as much as I used to, I think I'm just, what does it matter? It's my channel, I can do what I want, right? Yeah, I just want to get some more videos done because I really miss this community. I really do. So that's it for now. I'm gonna go and read. I'm gonna read this. I gotta get through this. I think I want to finish this because I can't wait to talk to you all about this. And if you've read this, please let me know, and we could, chat on Twitter or something about this, because I'll pick this up. If you need something to read right now and you're in the mood for a really gut-wrenching, beautiful character study, but also it's plot driven, I would say, but it's very character based and beautiful. So if you're in the mood for that, and big, if you're in the mood for something like that, I really, really recommend The Heart's Invisible Furies. I'm really upset that this was not longlisted for any of these stupid awards that are coming out, but more of that later. I've got some National Book Award and Man Booker books that I've got piled up that I also want to get to this month. I'm being overcome by all these books, but it's a good thing, right? Books are amazing. That's why we're here. Okay, I'm gonna stop blabbering, and get to do some reading. But I hope everyone's well. I miss y'all. I hope everyone's great. How's everyone doing? Yeah, let me know. All right, I'm going to go. Please be kind to each other. All right, bye.